too much.
So there were updates on the whole Fees Must Fall thing. You were still in Vets at the time of Fees Must Fall started, no? Or you
Well,
were a year
well
out?
Fees Falls weird because like those student protests happened for a long time from when I started even at Wits. So in '06, I remember there were protests every year. It's kind of the same time. So I'd seen different iterations of it, but the
Okay.
one that popped off, I was doing my final two subjects in 2016, I think.
So what had happened was, and I think I want to talk about is because Yaku, you know the history of the whole thing. Or
I
you were
think
you were
so.
there for a lot of it.
For bits, yeah, for quite a few bits and pieces.
But now the guy who got arrested and he got released like in December apparently, just before Christmas.
Yeah.
But like my thing was that man should stay in jail, bruh.
Why?
Everyone is like, nah, this man was fighting for free education and it happened, the fights and whatever. This man tried to burn a police van, bruh. That is must not okay in a protest, bruh. Even in a, like, there's a reason, like, we come from a history where we know that, like, protest sometimes is the way to get things done.
Yes.
But this is not apartheid. We can't resort to violence. In apartheid, I understand why we had to resort to violence and why it
Okay.
would have ended up that way. But
Sure.
we're no longer there. So now when we protest, burning a police van is not justified.
Well, I think there were a lot of things that happened in that. There was lots of crazy stuff that happened. There were some instances where, I'm gonna say allegedly for legal purposes, allegedly, one more time. Incidents where law enforcement was like attacking students, and then it was like all kinds of weird stuff happened during that time.
But is there like if police use, I don't know if they use rubber bullets, smoke cans, and all those stuff, crowd control. If a crowd seems like it's gonna get out of hand and violent, then you find that it's necessary for police to use some force. They weren't planning on killing the kids because there was no threat of anyone losing their life or anything like that there. But there was a threat of this protest might go violent
well,
or hostile.
well, I'll speak personally. First, South Africa's got a very violent history. So when protests become violent, it's like, well, that's like the country was kind of built on that, like on both sides, particularly with the regime that people lived under, and so then their kind of peaceful protests and demonstrations. Eventually, people were like, "This is not going to work. We need to militarize it."
And there were a lot of aspects of Fees Must Fall that were like silent, sit down protests.
Yeah, I mean, but that happens with every protest. There's different factions within it. Everyone has different goals and outcomes.